And it seems like the third part of this season is on its way to surpassing the previous ones. Guys, believe it or not, this latest episode is my favorite so far. Yes, episode 28 was amazing with its great battles, action, and a short flashback of Yuaba. Then the following episode gave us Okitake's flashback with more. But this episode had something that I really wanted. And the studio did a fantastic job transforming something that was previously a weak point in the manga, the Shinigami's preparations to go to the Royal Palace, into brilliant events, led by Kurako Shunsui, who did an incredible job by freeing Aizen and Sasuke, gathering the Shinigamis, and forming alliances with some of the Quincy's. And also we have the appearance of Grimijo. So this coordination gave me the vibe of the Soul Society arc again. And on top of that, the episode also hints at a shocking reveal that we will talk about in the end of this video. And so Yuaba finally achieved his goal after many battles, ending with Ichigo breaking the seal. And after that Yuaba continued with his plan and absorbed the Soul King. And as we have seen, breaking the seal unleashed a tremendous flow of Ryatsu from the Soul King, passing through Yuaba and flowing down to the Soul Society. And here is where the mystery grows, guys. It seems that the Soul King, who is supposed to be protected by Squad Zero and the Gojo 13 through the defense of the Royal Palace and the Seirechi, actually has a power that seeks to attack the Shinigami, not the Quincy's. And if the Soul King is actually the king of the Shinigamis, his energy should logically target the Quincy's, who are the enemies of the Shinigamis. But the opposite is happening. His power is fighting against the Shinigami themselves. And speaking of this point, guys, there is a page in the manga that wasn't adapted. When those creatures emerged from Yuaba, they headed towards the elite guards. Lilibaro thought they would attack them, but notice what Ashford said. Don't worry. This is a Ryatsu from the Soul King that flowed after the Shinigami seal was broken, and it will attack the Shinigami, not the Quincy's, as they are the Soul King's enemies. So the question is, why does the Soul King consider the Shinigami his enemies? There is some answers, but we will save that for the end of this video. So on the other hand, guys, we saw how the Shinigami struggled to stop those creatures, each one using their Zanpakuto to fight them without success. And then we got the legendary entrance of Aizen Sasuke. And after 2 years in the darkness of the Mugen, Aizen finally sees the skies of the Soul Society again. Actually, neither he nor we can see the sky of the Seirechi because of that red cover. So his appearance was still majestic, especially with the immense Ryatsu he unleashed. Because Ryatsu has always been Aizen's main power. As Gin once said, Kyoka Suigetsu is a dangerous weapon. But it's not Aizen's main power, it is his Ryatsu. Even without the Hogyuku, Aizen has a great Ryatsu. But with it, he reaches new levels, and we saw some of it when he annihilated those creatures with a single blast, raising them from existence. And so one of the reasons that I see behind Aizen's increased power could be his further fusion with the Hogyuku, strengthening his Ryatsu even more. We also saw this in how he used the Halo 19, Kurotsugi, creating that huge version without the full incantation. Another thing, guys, that I really appreciated in this episode is how Kurako interacted with the Shinigamis. Through his words, he reminded the captains and the vice captains that this mission isn't about their pride or honor, but about protecting the Seirechi. This is a principle for which the original Gojo 13 was created. That was their philosophy at the start. No concern for pride or honor, just eliminating the enemy. So Kurako brought back some of that spirit, balanced with the current reality in his own unique touch. Another thing, guys, I mentioned in previous videos is the seals on Aizen Sasuke. As you have seen, Aizen's seals don't cancel out his Ryatsu, rather they restrain it and give it a limited range to spread. Aizen wanted to bring down the Royal Palace, but as we saw, his Ryatsu reached a certain limit and stopped. And speaking of this, guys, in the manga there is a scene where Mayuri explains why a Shinigami's Ryatsu can't be eliminated. Mayuri says that as long as a Shinigami's heart beats, the Ryatsu won't stop, which is why it's impossible to entirely eliminate the riots of the prisoners of the Muken, because the Shinigamis don't have a way to stop the hearts of the prisoners of the Muken, and Aizen Soseki is a prime example of this, since he possesses the Hogyuko. And also guys, I really appreciate how the studio tried to give us a look at other secondary characters. This is great, because these characters are part of the story too. The war isn't just about 10 characters, but involve all the Shinigamis. So seeing Shino and Yuki, who were important at the beginning of the arc, was a positive touch. Also seeing Makimaki from Squad 11, who had a role in the Soul Society arc with Orihime and the others, or Rikichi from Squad 6, who could be considered Orange's student, or Rimura from Squad 4, and also Kurmadani, who became the 10th officer I think in 13th Squad. So as I said, all these characters guys brought back some vibes of the Soul Society arc as I mentioned. Now as we have seen guys, all the parties of the war included Janiter, Bazbi, Giselle and Lil Tito have united, aiming to ascend to the royal palace to stop Yuaba. However guys, one scene that really made me feel sad for Aizen Soseki is the scene of him watching from afar as the others gathered to go to the royal palace. The royal palace was once one of Aizen's main goals, and now, as we can see, characters like Omaida are going there. So I wonder if they will add new scenes on this point and whether Aizen will join them or not. We need to see what happens next after Aizen is released, because just waiting around doesn't feel justified. And now we have talked about the events of the Soul Society. There is also the Royal Palace events. It appears that Oryu Ishida indeed injured Ichigo with that serious attack, but Orihime healed him. There is still a possibility that Oryu only wanted to keep out Ichigo of the battle. Knowing Orihime was with Ichigo, he likely assumed that she would heal Ichigo's wounds, and by doing this he would buy the trust of the elite guards and Hirschfeld also, while giving Ichigo and the others the impression that he's actually betrayed them, and all that to do his hidden plan. And I really enjoyed Gon's appearance. Gon to me is one of the symbols of Bleach. The amusing thing is that Gon will finally receive a thank you from Ichigo for the first time, and where? In the Royal Palace. And the returning characters didn't stop there with Gon. The Espada Grimijo also made a comeback. He's my favorite Espada. That's why I really hope he will get some fresh unique battles to showcase his abilities and powers after more than 2 years since his last fight with Ichigo. And now guys, let's return to the initial scenes where we discuss Ryo's flowing power, which took the form of small and one-eyed black creatures. As we said, these creatures consider the Shinigami enemies of Reio. What is more interesting, the studio included an image explaining why these creatures act this way, giving us 2 theories. Either these creatures bear unconscious a grudge because of the King's Seal, or shockingly, perhaps Reio was originally a Quincy and have this grudge also towards the Shinigami, aligning his intentions with Yuaba, his son. And honestly guys, the second theory is really interesting. Both theories could even complement each other. In the end, we may see that Reio has a grudge, a hatred towards the Shinigamis. Maybe he was a Quincy from the beginning. He does have Shinigami powers, but perhaps he considers himself a Quincy, especially given that in the past he may have used Quincy powers to kill Hollows in the ancient world. That's why guys, I decided this would be the subject of my next video, as there are many things I really want to speak about. In the end guys, tell me your opinions about the episode. What did you like? Tell me in the comments, and see you guys in my next video.